However, because of everything that is going on, we know our viewers are going to want to update, yeah, on what is happening with African stream. So before we get into our major topic, you know, I've since I've been, you know, letting people know that you're going to be coming through, letting them know that you are going through certain processes at the moment. And so probably what you have to say or what you are able to say is going to be very, very limited. But we will ask you anyway. And whatever you can say, do feel free to share with our brothers and sisters. What is happening with African Stream? You know, are we still fighting strong? And how can we continue to assist and support African Stream?
Sure. So for those that don't know, I'm sure many people do know, Friday the 13th, coincidence that it was on that day, Secretary of State Anthony Blinken made a huge statement in a press conference that we are Kremlin propagandists. Now, he said it without a shred of evidence. And, you know, for us, we've been attacked before, but usually it's a great opportunity because we've got some fantastic journalists as part of the team for us to clap back. And, you know, usually we do a reply and we get more followers. So we thought it'd be one of those. But this attack, because it came from the symbol of Babylon, the ops, obviously it was a bit different. So within 24 hours of him making the statement, our YouTube channel was shut down. Within 72 hours of that statement, our Instagram, Facebook was shut down. And over the course of the week, our TikTok was shut down. And then today, they shut down our Gmail access. So that is our whole, yeah, I know. So that's all of the share drive, all the videos that we've ever done on African Stream, that was on the share drive, all the Gmails, all the stories that we were working on, you know, they're linked to scripts, all of that's gone. So yeah, I mean, this is the good thing about this is the nature of the work that we do and the stories that we cover meant the team already knew that this was a possibility.
Right.
You know? So because we covered the story of Patrice Lumumba, who they called a Soviet agent, and then he was killed, put in sulfuric acid, body dismembered, burnt, and then the only thing remaining of him was a tooth. So we know that we're not in any way trying to compare ourselves to the elder, to the ancestor, but
of course.
But we know that when you step out and when you expose imperialism, there is a price to pay. And I think, you know, it's clearly politically motivated. It happened just before the US elections are about to take place.
Of course.
We were already getting attacks by a lot of people in the US that said that we were hurting Kamala Harris's campaign. Now, what's crazy about that is we've cussed out Donald Trump more than we've cussed out Kamala Harris. It's about even, but slightly more. Yeah. But they don't care about when we cuss out Trump. But because of the relationship with, we call them Africans in America and the Democratic Party, our coverage was seen to be more hurtful. I guess the opinion is that no one that's voting for Trump is probably following us anyway. But there are a lot of people that were voting for Kamala. So the first few, before we had the situation where we got attacked by the Secretary of State, there was a few smear pieces that came out, really poorly written smear pieces. So the first one was by NBC.
We covered that a couple of weeks ago. Just to let people know about that. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, but you know,
brilliant response, by the way. Brilliant response.
Thank you. But they said that we're spreading fake news to 40 million African Americans without a single example. And they cited a report, and in the report, the only thing that's publicly available is the summary of the report. And in the summary of the report, we're not even mentioned. And then in the summary of the report, it says, email us if you want the full report. I emailed them months ago. No reports come.
No reports come.
So they can smear you based on a report that you're allegedly named in, but the thing that's online doesn't even have your name. And then if you try to email them, no report comes. That was the first one. And then the second one was we said, irrespective of who gets elected into the White House, US presidents are going to continue bombing Somalia. And we named how many drone strikes each US president, from George Bush all the way to Biden. Factual, indisputable. Then Voice of America, which is US state funded, they put out a piece saying African stream distorts US's role in. So obviously we responded to that, destroyed them. So they couldn't attack us for our reporting. So then they just went with this. And as soon as Anthony Blinken said this, even though he didn't provide a single example, all of a sudden, this week, I think from Monday, a Wikipedia page is now up of African Stream. African Stream is a source of disinformation ran by all based on one person's
statement. Yeah,
one person's speech where he doesn't even have
anything. Yeah,
and it says I knew the game was rigged, but I had no idea that it was rigged.
That serious. Yeah, that's mad.
It's
Bro,
not.
I didn't know. So this is breaking. Yeah, for those who are just tuning in, right? Brother Ahmed has informed us that not only have they locked off the YouTube, the Instagram, the Facebook, and the TikTok. I'm going to come back to TikTok in a second because that's an interesting one. They've also locked off the entire Google account. So that means that African Stream no longer has access to its cloud storage facility. Yeah. So they have actually curtailed, like, that's mad. So do you have, and by the way, this is a good because I usually use physical hard drive to
man.
things,
So,
and I get it because I'm seeing the convenience more and more of having the cloud storage, but for situations like this, anyway, I won't even ask you if you got the hard drive back up in case.
No. It's a good question. We've got less than half of it backed up. Yeah, less than. But more worryingly, we had like some long projects that we were working on. Script's gone. Everything's gone. The transcriptions. We sent a sister to Mali to do a long documentary on Modibo Keita because he's not well known not well known in the Pan-African circles as he should be. And she went there to get some exclusive interviews. I think she interviewed some relatives. The whole thing is gone. The whole thing is gone. Yeah. I know.
So this is serious propaganda warfare, brothers and sisters. I've been telling you that for over a year. We cannot get too comfortable on these platforms. Yeah. And this is the reason why. My brother, two quick questions on this before we get into Sudan. The first is, I, like many, was somewhat surprised when TikTok deplatformed African Stream, principally because we know that the US government has been at war with TikTok, economic warfare with TikTok for a few years. And conventional wisdom would suggest that TikTok, because of its association with the Chinese government, is outside the sphere of influence of the American government. Are you aware of what facilitated the TikTok removal, and what can you tell us about that?
So from my understanding with regards to TikTok, it hasn't been under the full control of the Chinese government for some time. Yeah. So even if you go on to TikTok and you check who regulates TikTok, you'll see the regulators are based, I think, in Norway, the US, these Western centers. So that's number one. Because I looked into this because we were getting, at one point, we were getting the most censorship on TikTok. So even though TikTok has our most followers, we were getting the most censored. The first wave for censorship on TikTok was with regards to Niger. We're getting community strikes left, right, and center for no reason. Yeah, and I was thinking, why would China? And then so it made me do some digging, and I found out it had nothing to do with China. This censorship. And then the same when when we talked about Palestine, we tried to make the link between companies like Glencore, what they're doing in Palestine and what they're doing in Congo. Whenever we talked about Palestine,
Yes.
it would get censored as well, taken down to a point of we started self-censoring ourselves. So any
Right.
Palestine story we'd put on the backup page. If it was on the backup page for a week with no problems, then we'd post it on the main
Okay.
page. So TikTok's been an issue for a while. It's
Right.
right now they're really concerned that it's going to be taken down in the US. So they're trying to be more Catholic than the Pope.
Right. I
They're trying to
understand.
be more Catholic than the Pope. So that anything remotely, if unless you're dancing,
Yeah.
tapping your feet, if you're talking about anything political on TikTok, there's a
Yeah.
good chance that there could be some sort of strike on
No,
there.
yeah, I'm waiting for it myself. I mean, I've been using TikTok for a while. It's the last social media platform that I got on, but I realized there was a shift in terms of the growth rate on TikTok at one point, and then it just
Yeah,
stopped. Yeah,
yeah,
right. So
yeah,
and it stopped at around the time when America ramped up the economic warfare. Yeah, as it stands, however, now my most watched video as of last week on TikTok is a video where I'm talking about African stream and the recent situation, right? So I'm just waiting to see what's gonna happen. Yeah,
yeah.
because now it's my most watched video. It just took over my previously most watched video on TikTok. That's interesting to note. So brothers and sisters, please note that as well. And finally, I don't know how much you can say on this, but feel free to not say what you can't say. But how are your legal processes going? You know what I'm saying? How is that process going at the moment?
It's difficult. I'll be honest. It's very difficult.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah.
had it been a man in the street that said this,
Right.
easy,
Easy, yeah. Yeah.
easy.
Yeah.
I guess that's probably the most I can probably say
Right.
about it. But yeah, you, d- you can't take who takes the U.S. government to court is the
Yeah.
question.
Exactly. Exactly.
And
Exactly.
even
Exactly.
if you know, firstly, you'd have to match them financially. Yeah. So
Yeah.
the whole legal for people that don't know how the legal game works is you can't really ever sue someone that's wealthier than you
Yep.
because what
Yep.
happens is you send a letter, they send a letter,
Yep.
you send a letter, you've run
Yep.
out of money,
Money.
done. It's
That's
right.
basically it. Yeah.
Yeah, and obviously that's just like a really simplified version of it. But we
Yeah.
are definitely consulting lawyers.
Okay.
But yeah, there was an interesting article. I think it's the first statement that Julian Assange has made since he's
Mm-hmm.
come out of Belmarsh,
Mm-hmm.
and he said that he was naive in thinking that what was legal mattered.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
because when he was publishing the material about the war crimes in Iraq and Afghanistan, he checked the U.S. Constitution and was like,
Yeah.
"This is pretty black and white. I'm good." Checked the EU
Mm.
laws, pretty black and white. I'm good. Then
Yeah.
proceeded. Then proceeded
Yeah.
because he was extremely naive when it comes to
Yeah.
the security state.
Yeah.
All bets are off,
Of
and
course.
the legality is
Of
bended
course.
to who's considered
Of
sovereign.
course.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So
That naivety is extended to neoliberal capitalist dogma in terms of separation of the market from the government, right? Google is supposed to be a private corporation, as is Meta, as is TikTok, and what I'm saying, as far as they are concerned anyway, right? So really and truly, these corporations are not supposed to be dancing to the tune of the American government in that kind of way. If their, theory is to be taken seriously, right?
yeah. I'm glad you mentioned that. That's such an important point because if
Right.
each one of the platforms, I'll just go through them. So
Yeah.
YouTube said we violated several community guidelines. What
Yeah.
community guidelines? What we
Right.
can't appeal. There's not even an appeal button on
Appeal
YouTube.
button. Yeah.
Uh, Instagram and Facebook, we've violated many community guidelines. Again, what community guidelines?
What
They can't
community
even
guidelines?
say we're taking you off because a politician said this about you.
Yeah.
That would be honest.
Honest.
That
Yeah.
would be honest. So that if they when they go down the bogus route, our email address They said, you've been putting out spam emails. Obviously, we haven't. So they don't even play by the rules that they profess to abide by. And, that applies to everything. The free market is only, free for them to enter the market.
Right.
So, So that's the way. Give me one moment. I'm just getting my charger for the laptop.
No problem, King. No problem. Yeah. Brothers and sisters, we're speaking to Ahmed Kaballo, CEO of African-Stream. Our subject today is what's happening in Sudan, brothers and sisters. What's happening in Sudan? Our brother has just informed us that not only has the YouTube been locked off, the Instagram been locked off, the TikTok, the Facebook, I forgot to mention the Twitter monetization was also locked off as well through Stripe. Elon is not as vexed with you as Blinken is at the moment, it would seem. You know what I'm saying? But that's I guess the price you have to pay for fronting yourself as a free speech absolutist. You know what I'm saying? But we'll see where that goes. But now their actual entire Google account has been seized. And so a significant amount of work, they no longer have access to African students. This is all out warfare, brothers and sisters. All out digital and propaganda warfare. Yeah. And so, my brother, what can we, those who are viewing, do to continue to support African-Stream at this moment in time?
Right now, if we're being honest, it seems like it's not a matter of if, but when the remainder of our platforms will be taken down.
Yep.
So at that point, it's just about our videos that we put a lot of work in. Share them. Just share them. Talk about what's going on. For us, we really try to spark conversations that were woefully missing on the internet. You've been consistent for 10 plus years. That's just what I've witnessed. I'm sure it's been much longer than 10 plus years. But we really need to radicalize our people and realize the extent of the problems that we face, because so much of us have really bought into their abstract notions of who they are. Yes. So they say they're democratic, but then, like a dictator, Blinken makes a statement and everything gets shut down.
Shut down.
They say free market, but then we have in Nigeria, Dangote tries to build an oil refinery, and they do everything to shut it down. They want us to be in a perpetual state where we export raw commodities and never the finished goods. And what we were just trying to do is facts-based reporting that just highlighted this. And I know from our DMs, honestly, my wife used to get vexed because I'm always on my phone, but I used to just read DMs because honestly, it was really like, it was the greatest motivation to know. People are saying, I had no idea. You guys are really woken me up. So the work needs to continue. If it's not us, whoever it is needs to continue the work. So, if you want to take our videos, post them. If you want to expand on what we said, we did a Dangote video. You do a part 2. Just really get the work out. They can't. If there's one or two of us, they can take us out. But if there's content creators now, armed, confident, and are ready to go, then this will be the spark of something much greater than us.
My brother, I just want to, I know that it's a lot on your head right now. I want to encourage you to keep your head up. As much as my words can mean, please receive them, you know what I'm saying? Because I know that it's a lot on your head right now. I know you said that, we're not comparing ourselves to Patrice Lumumba and so on, but let us be aware of this historical moment. This is an unprecedented attack, and it's the same kind of attack that those leaders and those who were providing media around those leaders faced. I'm reminded very much of what happened to the Negro World newspaper with Marcus Mosiah Garvey and the extent that they went to shut that particular media apparatus down. So we are not comparing ourselves to our ancestors in that way, but in another way, we are our ancestors. And in as much as we emulate them, we are going to face similar attacks. And I want people to understand that this is a historical moment, just like the historical moments that we read about and that we study about and that we watch on documentaries and films. This is a historical moment, brothers and sisters. And African Stream has been the target, yeah, of this attack in this moment in time. And we have to defend them as much as we can in whatever way we can. So I encourage you to do exactly what Brother Ahmed Kaballo is asking us to do in terms of sharing the content. And we look forward to whatever African Stream decides to do. Yeah, I want to pledge the support of Kimbunga Media, and I'm sure I can speak for at least the majority of our viewers, because brother Ahmed, when you're developing a platform, you got people that are about what you're about, but you also develop an anti-fan base as well. Yeah, so the enemies are watching us. We know that. Yeah, the enemies are watching us. Yeah, but I want to thank you, my brother, particularly for that Dangote video, because I've been very critical of Dangote. Yeah, and I think for good reason. But that video informed me, quite a bit in terms of what the dynamics that are taking place, and evolved my own thinking around that particular issue. Because we know that oil in Nigeria is a very long corrupt history, and so we appreciate the work that African Stream was and is doing, my brother. And you've already said it, but just to say it again, it didn't go unnoticed and it was not in vain, my brother. Yeah, so we appreciate you.
Thank
all right.
Just before we jump onto that, I'll just, because I agree with you in regards to Dangote, very controversial character. But one of the elders, I'll shout him out, Brother Sobukwe here in Kenya. He always tells us, because here's the thing, what people don't realize about African Stream. We have once a month ideological workshops.
Right.
An elder from the All African People's Revolutionary Party sits down and we really get into it, and we discuss. It's not just we just sit down and we write a story. No, we realize we have to stay sharp. Anyway, he said that you have to. There's always contradictions, and we have to use those contradictions to our purpose. So Dangote is a contradiction. He's a billionaire who made his money working closely, but right now, unfortunately. He's the person leading the charge for Nigerian oil sovereignty. It's a contradiction, but it's there.
Contradiction, right?
It's there. And it's not about him. It's not about him. And we don't hold him as any hero, but we understand the forces against him are not against him for any of the bad stuff that he's doing.
Right.
They're against him for the patriotic desire. I'm sure there's financial incentives as well, but there is a level of patriotism that makes him think that why can't we? Why are we Africa's richest? We sit on Africa's richest oil fields, yet we import petroleum.
Absolutely.
How does it make any sense? As Cameron used to say, the computer's not Putin. Doesn't make any sense. Doesn't make any sense. Anyway, we can move on.
Yes, my brother. Thank you for that. Yeah, thank you for that. And obviously we could spend the whole show on this topic. As and when there is more to say, feel free to let me know. We'll come back and discuss it in more detail, brothers and sisters. But yeah, all right. So let's get into our major topic now.